Gotta promote this all on Twitter. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CredeCast. The CredeCast is back, and this is your host, the Reverend of the Ring, the Self-Supremacy, the one and only Everett Creed, giving you the wrestling review. And that's actually my radio show intro. Fuck. All right, whatever. Well, you could actually listen to that, too, on WFTU. Well, notice, I got two shows now. All right. So, new control room. That's nice. And as you can see, I am not alone this evening because I am joined by my special guest this time, former Gen Y brethren and my good buddy Justin Porteous, if I am saying that correct. I don't think I am, but...
You actually are. You
Wow.
surprised me.
Yeah.
Bravo, sir.
A.K.A. future president in 2016, a.k.a. Ace Whistler, and it is good to have you here on the CredeCast.
Well, it's good to be here with your self-shilling ass.
All right, let's not make this, something I'm going to review.
No, but in all honesty, I'm glad to be here.
Yep. All right, well, let's see what we got. No one cares, Creed. No, shut up and introduce. Wow, someone definitely is not in a... Maria Excellence is here, and I got to thank her for being here.
Hey,
you know.
She's a nice lady. Leave her alone.
Yeah, but she doesn't have to act like someone peed in her cereal every morning, you know? I mean,
well, it's just proving that I'm better than you.
Well, yeah, we're off to a great start now, aren't we? Well, a lot of people are wondering, like, because, you really came out of the blue in the backyard wrestling community, and lately the CredeCast has been heavily based on backyard wrestling politics and backyard wrestling news and all things around the BYW community. But as interesting as it is, originally we met in the CAW community, which is Xbox Live gameplay, WWE gaming, TXW, all that kind of stuff. So
we
a
met
lot of people
in 2011.
Yeah, 2011. So, and it's funny because
it's gonna be 4 years in January.
4 years. Oh my God! Yeah, you're right.
It's gonna be 4 years in January.
And it's funny because we met before UWE even started, and we met before I even met Cameron.
And the weirdest part is I met you through Rios.
Yeah, right. You met
I met you through Rick.
Because Rick was also in TXW as well, and pretty much that's how all that started. And a lot of people are wondering, because everybody knows you for being President Ace and also being the person that creates the logos for the UWE and even for some other federations. So a lot of people wanted to know how you originally came about and how we originally met and how did you really get involved with not only myself but in backyard wrestling. So pretty much, yeah, we met in 2011.
2011, yeah, because I got my Xbox in December of 2010. I got my tryout through Solus, Keith Mason,
yep,
our buddy Ryan, and I met you through Rick after Rick, myself, a good friend of ours who's coincidentally a professional wrestler now named Have Mercy Percy Davis. Who else? And two other people. I believe one of them was another guy by the name of Ethan Desmond and Mignano.
Oh my God!
Who was an Irish dude playing a Samoan gimmick. It contradicted itself completely, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But I met you through that.
That took place at Deception, and Everett Creed at Deception fought and lost the International Championship
To a superhero,
the Fabulous Killjoy. And that was,
yeah,
not going to lie, I actually thought it was a good match. But, you win some, you lose some, and that's just how it goes.
I know that because I sucked in 2011.
Yeah, well, you're not alone. But yet, we were still... And it's funny because the original idea was, I know you and another good buddy of ours, Tyler Emerson, came up to me and said that you guys were starting a new faction.
The whole basis of Gen Y came through four of us. It was Emerson. Emerson came up with the whole idea. He wanted to do this faction. Emerson, myself, our friend Percy, and a guy who was named Dante Ordeal, who's now Chris Grant in CAW. And essentially, we all formed that, and a great friend of ours, Shannon Silvera, CDT by God, Gate City God, he heard the idea, and I got a message from him saying, yeah, we're going to get you a leader. If you know him, his name is Everett Creed. Here's his gamer tag. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've heard of him before. I haven't talked to him too often. And then me and you started hitting it off the bat, and we hit it off of just our love of pro wrestling in general.
Yep, I remember that. And a lot of people, I remember originally Marcus Edwards, a.k.a. Have Mercy Percy Davis, was going to be the leader.
Yeah.
And I also knew, in every, whether it's CAW, backyard wrestling, even in the pros, even in WWE.
It needs that veteran factor.
It not only needs the veteran factor, but it needs somebody that can carry themselves on the mic. And for some reason, Shannon didn't really see that as much with
Percy as you.
As he did with me. And I remember the first promo I really did was when I left my tag team at the time, and there was a whole thing with that with Red, White, and Creed. I was in this Canadian guy. We were the Canadian tag team, and then I pretty much betrayed him and went off. And
yeah, I still talk. I still hear from A-Fine once in a blue moon.
Yeah, and eventually Shannon says, obviously you've heard of the new faction. I'm like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. He tells me you want to lead it. And I'm like, well, you don't get many opportunities at this.
Think about that.
Yeah, let me think about that. Yeah, so,
yeah, it opened the door for us.
It definitely did. And then we got the name, and then there was this very spectacular traditional TXW event, one of their major events known as All Caged Up, and I snuck myself into the Elimination Chamber match. And the theme of the pay-per-view is it's all cage matches, Hell in a Cell.
It's steel cage, Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber is always the main event.
The Elimination Chamber, yes, the Elimination Chamber.
It's a better version of TNA.
Pretty much. And
TNA still kind of sucks at the moment, so.
Yeah, there you go. So we did the chamber, and then there's the fan favorite won the match, and all of a sudden I come up on the Tron, and I'm wearing a neon green shirt with a Y on it, and saying the words "We Are Alive," and then that's when you hit the ring with Dante Ordeal and Marcus Edwards, and beat the holy hell out of the champ. And thus Gen Y was born.
It was a great ending to a pay-per-view because it has the shock factor, and you need a necessary shock factor, especially with a pay-per-view like that was just all match based.
Yeah,
it was really good.
And that was how it started, and then all of a sudden, Gen Y began, and it really took off, and you became.
It ran for what?
Yeah.
2 years.
It ran for a while, and
2 years.
Gen Y was definitely
counting all the hiatuses and all that.
Plus the hiatuses, all that stuff. It really, but it added in time, and then Gen Y really became the most dominant faction of CAW, and because a lot of people think the most dominant faction is Gen Y, and that was really what led to the beginning of a lot of careers. Tyler Emerson, Rick Rios, Rick Rios got on the map, Marcus Edwards, and then you won. I think even though I was the leader, you benefited probably the most throughout Gen Y because you
I was.
You won the U.S. title.
I held every
the mid-card
title. It was named 5-6 different things, but it was the same title. I held it for through 2011 to. I wanted to drop it so bad because I was just I just got into the league about 6 months, and Shannon's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna run with the U.S. title." I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel like I deserve it. There's many people that have been here for years that haven't had the title, It's like, I took it very, very seriously at the time. And plus, I was a nervous wreck every time I played a match too. My hands were shaking.
Me too, because it was
And
competitive.
so I held that title for until TXW's end in 2013, and then now it's back, and I'm in TXW again.
And with the rebirth and all that, and then Gen Y also was involved. Every member of Gen Y was involved at actually no, even before because the pay-per-view where Gen Y really took off, because they came around and then they kind of hit the back burner for a little bit, but then they came back.
It was Ultimatum.
Honor, Glory, Respect was where we really hit the beginning of the
yeah.
That's when.
Oh yeah, because mainly that reason was you and your feud with Shannon.
That was the birth of the Creed Silvera feud, and then also you had a match as well, if I'm correct.
I had a match against Robin Storm, and that was one of my favorite matches to do.
That was,
yes. I remember we did that match an hour before the roster reveal for WWE 12.
And
then we all were in the party, and we're like, "You want to watch the roster reveal?" They're like, "Yeah, let's go."
Did you win that match, or did you? Did you lose the match?
No, I got disqualified from interference by Marcus Edwards. He hit a spear. He hit a. Here's the funny story. If there is a weird finish to an Ace Whistler match, it's because I lost and Shannon wanted me to keep the title.
Yep, because he saw something. He saw it, and that was what. And people are like, "Oh, that's not fair." No, you know what? BS. It was what's best for. This is overdone, but it's what was best for business, and it was what was best for keeping the show.
It was. Yeah, because Silvera turned face. The tag titles were held by heels and then eventually vacated. And then we never had that classic championship, the mysterious classic championship that never came to be because the idea got killed almost instantaneously.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, we need a solid mid-card heel champion, and I think,
that's where you came in.
I was at the right place at the right time, I guess. And it really helped me at the long end, even though I felt like I didn't deserve it.
And then, that started the Creed Silvera match, which, in my opinion, probably my favorite, one of my favorite matches with Shannon was, one of my favorite matches in my whole career of CAW was Honor, Glory, Respect, because that was the very first sim match. That was the very first simulation. Yeah. And it's funny, because everybody that thinks, oh, Creed and Shannon, they're the opposite of sim. They grew up and
we were competitive, and
we were all competitive, and it was just so funny that you think of the sim players of today, and really who created sim? It was actually Creed and Shannon, who are the two guys that
I think
can care less about the simulation.
Yeah, like simulation, like in a way, was all based in TXW, but was extended in leagues like ICE with Storm and Verdi. And then there was, extensions of that to the point where it just became common, and now it's common. You don't really see any CAW competitive leagues like TXW used to be. 2011 ended competitive.
Oh, yeah.
It ended competitive, and WWE 12 began simulation.
Yes. And, the... how do I put it? How do I put this? There's a lot of, like you said, a lot of buzz going on with the competition. And then, of course, Final Testimony 3, which was, not only TXW, but CAW's WrestleMania. And they needed that. And that was where every member of Gen Y was in a match. And Rick Rios, he kicked off the show against Matt Mosley, who, that was, about a 3-minute match, and Mosley.
That was, yeah, and that came out in December of 2011. It was the end of 2011 when Final Testimony 3 came out. And It was Rios Mosley Internet Championship. Uh, Emerson Edwards versus Eli Edmond and Omega Lee.
Yes.
Myself versus Cameron Bash, who was his first Xbox 360 League
Yep.
debut. Uh, Shannon, Jack Strider, our good buddy Kyle, and Everett Creed in the main event in a steel cage for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes. And then, of course, there was also the
Money in the Bank. Money
with
in the Bank,
Shameless,
which Jacoby Vengeance faced Shameless,
9,
9,
and
and Returning Soulless. And
And
Jacoby ended up winning that.
a lot of people thought, because the cage, here's the thing about the cage. The cage was a mix of competitive and simulation.
Yeah,
And
because
we
you have to
didn't
tell a
win.
story, but at the same time, you really want to win.
And exactly, everybody wanted to, win the match in that match, but we also knew we had to make it look good. It was the main event of our WrestleMania. And I was very honored because the year before, it was Shannon versus Strider in the Cell.
Hell in the Cell. Yep.
So now they put me in the equation, and it's like, oh, it's the same, star-studded main event as last year, but now Everett Creed's in it. It's like, wow, that's a real honor. One of the things when I first joined was like, I wish I could, face Shannon or Strider in the main event, and I got the chance to wrestle both, and it was a real honor, and it really was. And making it inside a cage was, it was really fun to do. And I remember, like, 1 o'clock in the morning, we recorded this match, and we were, like, screaming our heads off and all that. And then the scene where, I don't know how it, Shannon had Strider in the submission, the arms of sorrow.
Yeah, he had him in the label lock, and then you were climbing the cage.
I'm climbing, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this is really going to be, right to the nitty gritty. And all of a sudden, I climb down, and then Strider taps, and I touch the ground at the same time, and I'm freaking out because it's like a tie, and we didn't even play. We actually did play. I actually said, I was at, I think I was away in Florida or something like that. I'm not sure where. But I said, it would be awesome if we actually did it where, like, there was a tie between someone tapping out and someone's feet hitting the ground.
Hitting the cage.
And they're like, oh, no, that'll be impossible to do. And meanwhile, we do it. I'm like, what did I fucking tell you? I'm screwing my head off. My dad's like, Everett, go to bed. I'm like, it's a tie. It's a tie. It was perfect. And it was great. I mean, it was awesome how that turned out. And then your career launched because, unfortunately, I think TXW's best work was unfortunately erased because of the whole situation with that. But, nonetheless, I mean, that's where the presidency thing began because you dropped the global title and brought back the U.S. title.
In the United States.
You wanted to be
man.
the president.
If you want to hear the story of how the presidency gimmick came, me as Justin Porteous, I loathe politics. I don't like it at all. I think there's always pros and cons to everything. That's how I view it. And it's just one big, shit throwing contest. See who can get the less shit on them at the end.
Yeah.
And this was at the time where they were just starting the Romney versus Obama race, and I'm like, damn, I'm getting really annoyed. The election's not until November of next year. Why are they doing it now?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, okay. And there was a running gag that I had in 2011 where we'd be playing different games, and I would have different jobs. I was like Malibu Barbie of CAW. There was football whistler in Gears of War 3. There was firefighter whistler. I was essentially like a Barbie, even though my character looked like a crackhead Barbie in the game. Like, essentially that, and I'm like, well, you know what? I'll just become President Whistler. And I told Shannon, I'm like, how would you feel? And he's like, you know what? If you do a good promo with it, perfect. And I did one at Tribute to the Troops against Rambo, but Rambo Panda won, Cameron Bash. but it got erased because somebody's hard drive crashed, Ryan. So, and
Whatever,
then
that's a great word.
it was a gimmick where it's like, okay, let's be racist without pushing the bar too much against things, because that's how, like, I was the typical, like, you imagine American. That was Whistler. So I had essentially, I talked to our friend Percy, and we started writing out scripts and parodies of presidential campaigns and, scandals and speeches. And so I did that. I even threw in a little fake accent going, "My fellow Americans," like that. Just
Yeah.
something simple that I'd talk normal.
Yep.
And so my best speech for President Whistler gimmick never came to fruition because it ended, and it was going to be a parody of the Bill Clinton speech after they revealed he had the allegations with Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office and all that. And it was erased, but a lot of people still remember it, and so and that's still a joke today. I'll go President Ace. That's my gamer tag. Still, President Ace. I've never changed it. I've always loved doing that because the best thing to do is to poke some fun at something you absolutely hate, but then you become it. It was the most fun I've had.
That was definitely, in my opinion, your favorite. In my opinion, that was my favorite run, and I think that was your best run because I really felt like that was, and it's a shame that it's no longer. Well, there's still part of it that's on there.
There's a match that's on Bayfed.
Yes.
It's Shannon Silvera versus Ace Whistler, WWE 13 on the net, Subscriber Sunday. That's what it was called.
Yes.
And that was the only WWE 13 match I was featured in until another league that we were in, CCE. But I think you should read the comments to see if there's anything right now.
I actually have been looking at the comments. It's a lot of Maria Excellence blowing up about hate mail on Creed, saying Rios is better than Creed, all that kind of stuff. I think she actually referred to this as the Whistler cast. So
hey, like one of my things I wanted to do was always open a podcast, but I just don't know who I can get on, what to talk about. It's just and time.
I remember I was doing the whole personal thing with Shannon and his girlfriend at the time, who was Sierra, and I made threats and all that kind of stuff, and then it eventually led to my team versus his team, and if
3-on-3 elimination, it was him.
Yep, and I became
his Uncle Smash, who's one of my favorite people to ever had a match with. I got absolutely killed by him and Kyle in a match. I loved it because Smash was one of my favorites in TXW. It was like, oh god, I'm facing Smash and Strider. I'm facing veterans. Yeah. And there's just one spot. It was a tag match with you and me, and Kyle has me lifted up in a military press, throws me like the steps part where it connects to the turnbuckle, throat and legs hit that. I'm like, I'm dead.
Yeah, I remember because you were getting pinned, and Smash had me in the gorilla press, and I'm like, get me up, Yeah. I couldn't bring up the count because I was up in the air.
It was like such a comedic spot, but it was hilarious.
It was so good, and you know what? That was kind of like the beginning of that, that almost like that CJE entertainment kind of thing, and it's just,
getting CJE, no.
It was fun, and
it was like there's always
something that would happen to Cameron. Like it's definitely.
Like once in a while, it's always nice to throw in comedy and super serious stuff.
Oh yeah, you need that. You definitely
because it's it just it helps. It helps. It's like that's a little funny, but it's
the
like
two things that made the Gen Y what really, in my opinion, made Gen Y one of the best was not even just the people within Gen Y. Nathan Scott, who was the commentator for TXW. I learned everything about commentary from Nathan Scott.
Yeah.
And, you think Jack Thomas is good? watch one of Nathan Scott's matches.
Yeah, the channel that we're talking to, everyone will put a link in the description.
Definitely.
It's TXW Chairman.
And it just...
And that's where you'll see Nathan Scott.
Creed, Creed trying to escape, and that's what you get, Creed, you damn rat. Like, it's just so...
Yeah, damn rat.
Ever trying to escape, and and every time the match was going on in that cage, Shannon and Strider, every time they fought, I try to climb out of the cage. It's just, it was just genius.
Because you're a prick.
And then, that's the whole idea of it. And then you did the presidency thing, and you had Mosley as your vice president.
Oh my God!
You'd wear the suits with the little button. You'd paint tool the button like those.
Yeah, I paint tool. No, what happened was Shannon paint tooled the button, and then he's like, "You need a VP," and Mosley that day was saying, "Yeah, I'm thinking of being done with Matt Mosley. I think I'm moving to a different character because I can't really voice him in promos." And Shannon's like, "Well, Whistler needs a vice president. So if we kind of change you up, would you want to do it?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And me, this was at a time where me and Mosley did not get along. And I'm like, and Shannon's like, "Are you gonna have a problem with Mosley being your VP?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna be fine with him.
We'll be all right." So
we'll be all right. And then it worked out, and
I mean, it was really. So I remember Ultimatum. I actually think I played as you, because Ultimatum for WWE 12.
AC Arthurs.
And Shannon played all the matches besides besides the first match. We played with AC Arthurs.
That was Omega and our friend Dion.
Yes. Man, got a cough. We did the Cody Chase Jacoby Vengeance title match, and then we did Baron.
Now you're ruining all the magic behind it. It's just like, hey, now let's take the curtain off of Oz. Oh, it's just some fat white kid playing all the matches. God damn it.
Yeah, right? So, Ultimatum starring Shannon and Everett. So, that's
that was a running gag, too. Like, Shannon, every time, like, people wouldn't be doing their matches, Shannon's like, "I hope this doesn't become the Shannon and Everett show like Ultimatum."
Yep. And then every time. And then, because no one else would show up to do... That was Claw's version of a no-show. No-shows are so annoying in UWE, it's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I plan out a match card with Cam, and we're like, okay, we got it down. We got, Rick Rios will face Nick Somas, or, Lips will go against blah, blah, blah. And every match we create, without
you have to rely on the two people in that match. I'm like, you can't dress up in a Rick Rios and Cam can't dress up in a Nick Somas outfit, and you two do the match.
One person doesn't show up, and it ruins the entire show. And this latest episode of UW Lockdown that it was just
I think you told me that story.
One person, I'm not going to mention his name, but one person was scheduled to show up, and he did not show up. And because
I know.
Because of that one person not showing up, it altered and changed the whole show, and we had to throw everything away and recreate. And that's why it took so long to edit.
Yeah, you told me it did not just affect this episode, but affected all the episodes leading up to Hell's Vacancy.
It affected Hell's Vacancy. And if it wasn't for that one person not showing up, not only would this episode of Lockdown been up like a month ago, Hell's Vacancy would have been up by now. And because of that one person, everybody's like, Everett, Cam, chill. We could still, it's not that big. It is a big deal. One person not showing up affects the whole match card.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, then it kind of shows you that sometimes it can't be relied on.
And it wasn't even a main event superstar. It was going to be someone that was going to be, it was going to be a feud that was like on the bottom that was going to work its way to the top. And now because that one person not showing up, the whole show gets altered. And originally, Lips was not going to wrestle. Originally, we were going to have Lips was, we were going to eventually bring back Lips, but
you weren't going to bring them back this quickly.
Yes. So, Fat Jack needed an opponent.
Because I felt like I've watched it today.
And it was
And
yeah.
I felt like, I was just thrown in there. It's like, huh, okay, so he's back.
And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Lit's back. I mean, it's good. I mean, obviously, it was it was a
Well, yeah, now
surprise.
you have room for more options with
And
stuff.
also, Lips and Fat Jack had a very good match, and that was another
Yes.
thing. Even though there wasn't really much wrestling going on, it
No,
told
it's
the
a
story.
lot of more like, wow, Flips play mind games, he's back.
And that's what we had to do. We had to show that Lips can still, because the last couple of times we saw Lips, he lost to Insanity. He was eliminated in the Charybdis Chamber. He didn't win the Coliseum. He needs a win under his belt. So we gotta make
Well,
people know
technically,
that.
he wasn't eliminated. He was just taken out of the arena and disappeared.
Well, yeah, and then it was just at the point where we needed Lips to get a win anyway. So
Yeah.
we might as well just do it.
Understand.
And Fat Jack, he's a character that's not going to go down the tubes. He's definitely someone that's
No,
going to get his way up to the top.
I see potential in him, and that's me not even being a backyard wrestler, me being a fan. He just, once he gets that right opportunity, I know he will succeed with it.
And I remember, the like even with going back to TXW, when people don't now the UW's version of people not showing up is you just don't come to the show, and then
Yeah, you basically don't show up as ours and CAW is like, okay, you're not getting on, and we
You're not
told you
getting
like
online.
3 times to get on so you can play your match. So we're just gonna have somebody else play it for you.
Yeah.
Like
And
no
then-
shows, to be honest, you cannot tell on a show if somebody no showed or not.
Yeah.
On UWE, you can tell.
In UW, you could tell. In competitive days of call, you could tell. And this is how you
Because people played shitty as your character.
Yes. And no, not people didn't play shitty as your character. Because when a person doesn't show, I'll get the call from Shannon. Hey, blah, 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 didn't show up for his match. Get on. I'll be like, all right, let's do it. And me and Shannon would work on an amazing match. AC Arthurs versus this guy named Mason Maverick took place. I think he then eventually turned out to be Mike Malice. And
Yeah, that's a funny story, too.
Malice didn't show up. And I got the call, and they're saying, okay, Creed, we need you to play Mason Maverick. I'm like, okay. And me and AC Arthurs put on an amazing match.
If you hear the name Mason Maverick, just imagine a generic CAW with a black black face paint and a rigid bowl cut.
Cause just
That's his car.
Cause had so many. What's the word I'm looking for? Not generic. Phases. That's the word.
Yeah, it had phases.
2008 to 2009, it was the typical jean shorts, and I'm all about the thug life.
It was Cena, essentially.
Yeah, Cena-like, and that was what it was. 2010, we were pretty good. 2011.
That was 2011 through 2012 where we had the
emo run.
Yeah, we had the.
That was long black hair.
Black hair, tattoos, eyeliner, snake bites.
Yes, eyeliner, snake bites.
Yeah,
tattoos
it looked like
covering your entire body.
It looked like a gaggle of people would share their eye makeup.
It looked like an Avenged Sevenfold.
You see the same looks.
It looked like an Avenged Sevenfold concert, and it was just that's good and all, but not for every superstar. And then,
no, it's good for one, but you can't multiply that by 10.
And then in 2013, it died out, and all of a sudden it became the wrestler. It became the indie look, and that's
it came about. Okay, I don't care what my CAW looks like. I care about the spots I put in.
Yes, it's the indie look. And late 2013, I realized, okay, this is going to be a problem because the indie look, okay, now we don't have enough original characters. And this is where TXW was gone. This is when TXW closed its doors for a little bit. And the Gen Y versus Silvera thing came to an end. Creed Silvera, that was on pause. and which was a very good feud. And the Survival of the Sickest, the live stream, the place was blowing up. About 60% wanted me to win. It was like an amazing match, and it just had that OMG, like you could feel the story. And then when we did the CCE, like you mentioned, CCE was the next thing on board. I noticed, I'm like, okay, I gotta give, obviously Creed's gonna be on, but I need another character. I need something that, okay, this is gonna create a buzz, and this is going to create a spark for a different character. Now the emo thing was dying out, so I was like, okay, let's do emo.
I know exactly where you're going with it, and I know exactly the gimmick before Lips.
Yes.
You made was a goddamn clown named Mr. Bonkers.
Oh!
I pray to God there are no pictures of him, because just imagine a fat, white clown.
Yeah, Mr. Bonkers
it was too much like Doink.
Yeah, Mr. Bonkers didn't work. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. So
and then you came up with your $1 million gimmick, Lips.
Lips, yes, and Lips was in CCE and had the feud with Matt Mosley because Mosley was originally a freak and now he's back to normal. Lips don't like that so much. Lips wants to have a freak to play with. And that's where Lips really kicked off, and that's how, the red face, and Shannon hated face paint on cause.
Yeah.
Tell a story. It was just, I have Jeff Hardy face paint, and it doesn't say jack shit about my character.
Because every time somebody would have face paint, one of the people would go remove it, and it's like, wow, it's default face morphing. Ugh.
Exactly. And it's not only that, but it was just the face paint didn't tell a story. Lips,
it's like, we just put it on just cuz.
Yeah, exactly. Where with Lips, it doesn't work unless you have the face paint, or else it's just some regular, Frankenfurter. But with the face paint, where you have the red face, the black lipstick, and the eye, the creepy eye stuff. And then all of a sudden, one of our friends, Jordan, says, put on a boa and a veil, a bird. And all of a sudden, the character was made, and then it took off.
She made the paint tools for the attire, and for those that never watched CCE, like Lips and CAW, it's a lot more scandalous in his attire than what he's wearing, like his red zebra print Zubas.
Yep.
Yeah, like this one is full, like, creepy negligee.
Yeah, complete burlesque, He had the...
it's like...
The Call Lips definitely had more to tell in the story because it had the elf boots, the freaky elf boots. It had the fishnet detailed knee pads, and then he wore a leotard. But the leotard was, it was like... It was
red and black and had fishnet in it.
Yeah, it was black and red and had fishnet in it. It had a little fishnet heart in the chest, and then it had the sides with fishnet. And it almost looked like if MVP just decided, what the hell? Like, that's pretty much...
He became a TNA knockout. That's exactly what would happen.
Yeah, if MVP TNA knockout.
TNA Knockouts champion, Montavious Porter.
Yep. And that's where Lips started. And then that's, it was going to take off. And then, eventually, because then we did Ascension, which was a great show. That's where Cam made his first. Cameron was in CCE, and he had the whole thing where...
Yeah, because I didn't get to really talk to Cam until CCE. Like, I've talked to him once or twice, and the first time I met Cam, he did a hilarious Jim Cornette impression that had me on the floor rolling around, laughing my ass off.
Yes.
He does fantastic impressions, and he's one of the funniest people I ever known.
Very good impressionist and very good impersonator, and that's almost where I kind of learned my impersonating skills from. Because, everybody around says, like, I do a good Morgan Freeman, which I don't think at all, and just a bunch of other people, but I've learned it from Cam. And people that know Cam now for being in the CJE, he was best known for the impersonations, and his best one was Jim Cornette, which was the precursor.
My God.
His Jim Cornette his Jim Cornette impersonation was the precursor to Dale Peppers, and that was really where he got it from. And then all of a sudden, Cam threw off his voice and really made these amazing characters. Brother Cam, a manager for the CCE, was a black supremacist, almost
Mm-hmm.
like a mix between, how would I put it? It's almost a mix between Ric Flair and Teddy Long. Like, that's the one way to put it. And then he
No,
managed
yeah,
Lanier Monk.
yeah, and
He managed.
sadly, after Ascension, we didn't get to see a whole lot because you left, and then we cut our ties with Cam because we didn't want anything associated with you,
Yeah,
and that's where me and you had a falling out.
yes, and the Ascension thing, because that's like you said, I fought you for the title.
Still didn't play that match. I did not get to play my matches at all until like CCE Meltdown episode 9.
Yeah, and I remember doing the
It
match, and I'm
went
like,
from WWE 12 to friggin'
first All World title. I'm like, don't get me wrong, it was a good sim match, but it was just like, it's not exactly what I was looking for. But
you had other issues to take care of, and you knew
when I won the
that would
title,
interfere.
when I won the CC title, I was kind of looking at, I was kind of like just thinking to myself, like, this is just, I don't know, something's not right. This is not how like, I'm the champ, but I don't feel like I'm at the top of the world. I feel like I'm falling. And I just felt like I just wasn't in a good place. And, it was a shame because I really enjoyed playing the Lips character and I enjoyed doing the commentary. But I knew I was in a very dark place with a lot of things going on in my personal life.
Yeah.
And I was going in a very rapid depression.
Yeah, and you didn't tell me because
I really
you didn't
kept
tell
it
me
going.
until after I started talking to you again, and that was July.
Yes, and I was in a
You
very dark place.
left November.
I left in November, and we just got 2014, 2K14, and
Mm-hmm.
then I almost had a mental breakdown, and I almost had to go to the hospital, and
Yeah.
I was just really just at the point where I'm like, if I'm at the point where my medical health is at risk, then I need time off. And I already
Yeah.
had time off from the UWE in July because off camera we were, doing Ultimate Redemption 3. And believe you me, if UWE was still going on the same time I left CCE, it would have been the same. I would have left UWE. I would have said we need time because I noticed that Ultimate Redemption 3, we recorded that in July, and that's also when my grandpa went into open heart surgery.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he didn't make it.
Yeah.
But in July, I wrestled TJ at Ultimate Redemption 3, and it was definitely, even though it wasn't the main event, it was still the most anticipated match on the card. It was the Ultimate Grudge, and I felt this was going to be our moment, and I completely let him down. And TJ did a fantastic job, but I did not carry, and I didn't carry myself in that match, and I was just not mentally there. And I just was at
Yeah.
the point where I'm like, you know what, just pin me, just pin me, and it's just not going to work. And I need time away. And eventually, I had to shut down the UWE because I just wasn't, I wasn't
Yeah.
mentally there. And then that's when, because of my loss, then another person that I cared deeply about lost someone of their own, and
Mm-hmm.
I was mentally going through a hard time. And I just, even with college and just all about a bunch of stuff going on, I had to leave abruptly, and I just said I have to walk.
Yeah, because you left with no warning. The only
Yeah,
person you said goodbye to, and this is what I kind of really was angry about, was because there were times where you would just talk to me, and me and you would talk about it. Because there was times where you wanted to leave to a different CAW league, and I told you no, and you
yes,
got crap for it on the CAW league show, and they're like, this person talked him out of it. No, that person was me. But then you made CC with Mosley. And then I'm like, well, if you're making the league, I don't give a shit. You do whatever you want.
yes,
And then with this, you didn't tell anybody goodbye. You only told one person, and that was Jordan. You didn't even tell me goodbye.
Yes.
And then I got up the following morning, looked at my inbox on Facebook, and I went like this. I'm like, well, person I've known for 3 years, he's
Yeah.
not here.
It was,
He's like, okay, what do I do?
it was
Because
I was in a dark place.
Yeah, because me and you were planning out stuff to do, and we were supposed to headline the first 3 pay-per-views, and it never happened. And I got stuck with the world title, and then Shannon's like, "You're not built up enough," and then stripped me of the world title, and then
And it became, a lot worse than it had to have been. And I mean, it could have definitely been dealt with a lot better.
You saw me being a dickhead.
And we hit a lot, and I hit a lot, and because I didn't want to really put a lot of personal things, because I was already getting harassed by not you, but a lot of certain people in the league about those situations. And I'm just like, you know what? If this is going to be a burden more than an activity where I have fun, then I just can't be a part of it. Yeah. And it burned a hole, because the 2 people that I really connected with the most in the community was you and like you said, you and Jordan. And I was in a dark place at the time. And it's funny that we're mentioning this, because I was just texting a very close friend of mine. We were having a conversation, and I was telling that person, like, I was in a dark place a couple months ago. And it's funny that we mentioned that, because it was right around last year. It was actually last year when this all went down.
Yeah, it was about 1 year. Because you left before. Yeah, you left before Thanksgiving. No, you left after Thanksgiving.
No, before. I remember, because I was a complete mess about, I felt really bad about how I treated a lot of people.
Yeah.
Dark time. You, Jordan, a couple other good friends of mine, Angie, Cameron, a lot of people I was just kind of putting on the back burner, and I was really just kind of being an issue in their lives because I had a dark time, and I actually started going, only time in my life where I really went to the bottom of a bottle to find answers, and that was on Thanksgiving. And it was not a good time, but then, eventually, like you said, I had to change a couple of things up. College had to, really help with that too. And there was a lot of things that were just had to have been fixed. And I feel like a lot of it, even though there were other people in the community, we all made mistakes because,
we've all been there.
And
I have certainly been there, and I'm sure I'll be there again.
And I also realized that with me leaving, that I knew, not really arrogantly, but I kind of knew, once I go, this place is going to crumble. And then I really kind of broke into character with that, and I started saying on UWE episodes,
and that's the one thing. That's
UWE will crumble without me, and the CCE will crumble without me. And a week later, CCE shut its doors, and I'm like,
and that is a story that I was around. I left 2 days before it closed its doors.
Yes.
Myself and Jordan left because Jordan was, getting harassed by people in the community, and we said, you know what, fuck it. If it's gonna be this much of an issue, we'll just leave.
And you guys
and that's what we did, and then
that I did.
And eventually, all the roster just started leaving. There was no more than 3 people in CCE technically before it closed its doors.
Because you and Jordan were really the only ones I could really go to. That's why I felt horrible when I left, because I kind of felt like, even though I was leaving those assholes that kind of, really banged me.
When you abandoned you abandoned some of the assholes, you abandoned some of your friends.
Exactly, and I felt like I can't have both.
Yeah, exactly, and
and it was it sucked, but. And then eventually, like you said, things started reconstructing, and then CC was shut down because those people couldn't, the good
assholes kind of took over more than what we were used to.
And the good people realized, okay, F this. And
Mm-hmm.
That's when all of a sudden, like you said, in July, you hit me up,
Yeah.
and
Coincidentally, you talked about a dark time. I was shortly hitting a dark time, and I knew I had to do something because I knew it was going to be evident anyway. So I'm like, oh man, my girlfriend broke up with me the week before. She broke up with me the day after the 4th of July. And so I'm like, okay, I really need somebody to talk to. And Shannon and Mosley hit me up. It's like, yeah, we want to make a, Shannon's like, well, Mosley's going to be running TXW. And I told him he has the full thing. I'll still be there, but I'm not going to be running it. I'm not going to commentate. And I'm like, okay, then I guess I'll go. And they're like, okay, now we need more people. And I'm like, okay, well, since I'm doing this, there might as well be. I need to bury the hatchet with somebody really quick. And they're like, okay. And so I private chat. I found you through our friend Percy's friends list, and I sent you a private chat, and me and you talked for an hour.
yeah,
And
and a
then
lot of people.
everything was set. Like I told you exactly. I'm like, the first words out of my mouth is, "I'm sorry, I was a dickhead."
Yeah,
That's exactly the first words out of my mouth. I was like, I'm legitimately sorry for everything that I did.
and almost kind of like you knew almost what I was going through, and I had a very close friend, and it just I was very, I don't know how to feel. Like it was kind of like when I found out about the whole like the parody accounts and all that, I was just kind of like, okay, I'm not going to even message this parody account. I'm going to go to the source. And then I just kind of like left it be, and then you came to me like a man, and
Yeah, and I was like, hey, I'm legitimately sorry.
yeah, and you came and apologized, and I could definitely.
Well, there was times before where I
There's
just
not a
got
lot of
thrown.
people in this world that have the guts to do that.
Yeah,
And,
I know when I'm wrong, and when I'm wrong, I
but
immediately
like you said,
apologize.
eventually, and then that's where you wanted to make things up, and you wanted to, almost like sorry wasn't good enough for you, rather than
It's like,
say.
you know what, we need to do exactly what we did in 2011. That's
And
exactly. It's like, okay, let's look back at the good times that we had. And
yeah,
like coincidentally, it's a lot like this where we just told stories back and forth.
and that's what it was. And then,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, right around that time, things are starting to get a little bit better with me. And the UWE was resurrected by then, and we're up on YouTube. And I'm like, you know what? I always know how much you like making logos.
Yeah, and
And
you'd even like, and I'm like, you know what? How would I make you logos? How would I make you nameplates? Because I pitched the idea, and it's like, you're like, yeah, I kind of want, something to showcase names and stuff. And you're just thinking about like Twitter headers and stuff. I'm like, how would I make you nameplates?
mm,
Like old Raw's War. Like the prime example I showed you was
the
one
SmackDown
from
game.
1993, like the Raw video game, and I showed you Luna Vachon's.
Yes.
I want to
I
do
think you showed
something
me
like
Gold Dust, too.
I showed you Doink because this was 93, dude.
Oh, okay.
93. Goldust wasn't around until 95. So I was
Oh,
like, okay, here's this. How would you feel if I do this? And you're like, you know what? I like it. And the first person I made, Lips.
yeah. Yeah, the first nameplate you made was
It's
Lips.
like, here we go. It was Lips and then Everett Creed because this was around Ultimate Redemption 4.
Yes, this was around UR4.
This was Lockdown.
And I remember making the nameplates like,
Yeah.
the original, like I made Road to Destructions and All Out Survivals, and I made the original one for Ultimate Redemption. And then I realized that we had some technical difficulties with Ultimate Redemption with the frickin' what was it?
I had to
The
sit.
heat zone. God damn it!
I had to sit in a party in like a Google Hangout with you,
That
and
damn
I'm like,
heat
let me
zone.
Google heat zone error. Let's see how we can fix this.
And then we split. I didn't want to do it, but we
You
split the
split
video
it in
in
two
half.
parts, and then it became one again
And
anyway.
I'm like, you know what? New version of Ultimate Redemption. Let's see if we can get a new logo. I told you, try making a new logo. It came out that much
I
better.
made you a new logo in 30 minutes. I'm
And
like,
I'm
here's
like,
the logo.
much
You're
better.
like,
You know what?
that's amazing.
Use
I'm
that.
like, yes, there you go.
He's going to use that logo. And
Yeah.
Ultimate Redemption turned out to be a success, with the main event match was the championship match between Rios and Somas. That went great. Lips wore his freaking tutu of horror and lost to Insanity, but still a great match.
Tutu of horror.
You know,
It's
whatever.
Tutu of terror.
Tutu of terror, tutu of horror. I don't know what it was called, but it's just like whatever. But and then that's where the CJE and the Dirty Boys and all that.
Yeah, but I watched UWE before because I was making jokes about it.
Yes.
I have gifs I show you of nothing but Cam selling.
Cam selling. And
either Cam selling, TJ selling, or the Black Bullet dancing. Those are the three gifts I had.
Bullet, I remember the Bullets one, and then I remember the "It's me, Angie, it's me."
I had. You had a lot of memes. One of the first ones, the first one that I made of you, like UWE based, was because we were watching an episode. We'd have somebody would go into the chat, and here's a link of the newest UWE episode. I click on it, get my Gaizo out, and this one picture of you in a greasy hoodie
I think it was the one with me on either episode 1 or episode 3. And it was the one with my smile.
With you in a greasy hoodie, you're like this.
Yes.
I pictured.
Yep.
You mean to tell me that video games aren't accolades? ? Post. I'm like,
well, this is a great time to mention this because there's a couple of announcements I want to make. First off, Backyard Politics being hosted by Cameron Jackson and a special guest host, a new host, I should say. That will be coming in time. If I am correct, that will be actually, as a matter of fact, that might even be this weekend. I could be wrong.
Ooh,
I gotta talk
surprise.
But Backyard Politics is coming back with a new host. Besides,
it ain't me. It ain't me. I'm not in BYW. I just make logos. It ain't me. Let's start off with that.
But, however, Ace Whistler, this is actually good timing because you are now the official. I'm going to be making the account. You are going to now be the official UWE memes director. So, you pretty much, if you would like the job, because I feel you could definitely make that work.
Do I need to do an acceptance speech? Because I feel like I'm going a circle.
We really took what was we just made gold out of crap because it was just
here's the thing.
The best of a bad situation, right?
Yeah. You're like, you told me this around what? I think it was last Friday. You're like, yeah, you're gonna be head of UWE memes. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Is this a joke? And he's like, nope, completely serious. I'm like,
really serious.
Cool, because I already have a screenshot from Thunderstruck of Everett on the ground and Chico, Chico by him, and it pans over to where you'd see usually the backstage promos is. Goddamn Rick Rios on a Razor scooter, and Nick just sitting there, and I'm like, this is great. And I showed Cam. And then I told you, and you're like, God damn it.
And I'm like, what the hell are you doing on the scooter? There's a match going on. I'm sorry, but there are some people in the UWE that I give the utmost respect to. Main two, Cameron Jackson and TJ Sakara and Dirty the Chico and Dirty the Chico's and TJ's friend Colleen.
I love how you said I will give you two people I respect and you.
Yeah, I give you
gave 5.
So,
you gave 5.
I give you 4 or 5. Right? So because they sit right by the barricade and watch the match.
I'm glad you're not a ref.
The inexperienced learn off of it. The veterans enjoy seeing the rookies step up to the plate, and the fans enjoy the entertainment. If you don't know who Colleen is, she is the one that Lips was kind of taunting with on the latest episode of Lockdown. He kind of did like a hissing, almost like a Stardust-like growl at the woman. That was Colleen. Now, as you see, Dirty the Chico is there. Cameron Jackson is there. Myself, if I'm not wrestling, is usually there.
Yeah, you're usually there.
Because
you're sitting right behind it.
And there are people that watch on occasion, but there are some people that just sit all the way over there and fool around because they only are interested in their match. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, this is a group effort, this isn't about you. Like, But
Yeah. I mean, I've known Rick as long as I've known you. I've known TJ as long as I've known you. I've known Kim a little bit less.
yeah, well, Cam came in a little bit later. I actually met you
Yeah.
before I actually even met Cam. So,
Yeah.
I met Cam in 8th grade, but I really got to know him in 11th grade,
Yeah.
but when I was junior. So,
Yeah, because I met you when I was a freshman in high school,
and
and
I
now
was
I'm a freshman in college. Full circle. Woohoo.
um, well, let's see. Let's see. Well, TXWHD is actually on here.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Hi.
Baron Bishop is on here as well. Um, now I feel bad for how many times I mess with you, Creed. Wait, why does she feel bad? Oh, I guess when we were talking about that sentimental stuff.
Yeah, because
Um,
you have to make the podcast
Maria
depressing.
Excellence actually
Surprise!
feels bad that she messes with me.
Surprise! Hang on,
Maria,
I'm gonna make you feel horrible.
Maria Excellence feels bad for me. Oh my god, that's better than winning the world title. That is, oh my god, my day has been made. That's actually better than winning the world title. Oh, that's great. That is way bigger than winning the world championship. Um, oh, the story. Okay, me and Shannon said Creed from day one. I don't know what he meant by that. Let me see. Well, dude, remember the UWE's future? Well, oh, thank you very much, Mr. Mosley. Um, I
Oh,
love how Barrett's like,
no.
what's up, Mosley? He goes to the
No.
Barrett goes to the TX. Not even Mosley's own account. It's TXWHD account.
No.
It's the person behind TX.
No, that's a good story. I may have to show you those.
Freaking, you know.
Long story short, if you think the memes that I made were bad, we made two videos. We made two videos.
Oh, lovely.
So I can't wait to show you those.
Oh yeah, let's save it for later. So friggin'
Yeah.
I mean, that's really just a good way to sum it up. But I mean, there was a lot of things going on, like good and bad, throughout.
Yeah, and
years.
like I've said, everything has its pros and its cons. Everything has its good and its bad.
And I remember, and I always say to myself that it depends, because there's a lot of situations where it doesn't. But in this situation, a lot of people understand, and a lot of people would not understand, because they have not been in the same curriculum, and they have not been in the same room, I guess you could say. That in this case, the pros do outweigh the cons. And a lot of people can agree with that, and there are people that will disagree with that. There's people.
It's up to you. It's up to you as a person to
watch the call community. So but
it's up to you as a person to either you let those good outweigh the bad, or you let the bad overtake the good. Because if you make, it's up to you at the end as a person to do that. Me personally, I have the good over the bad, because I just hate feeling like a depressed sack of crap.
Yeah, I mean, Maria Excellence puts, and now I'm starting to not feel bad for you anymore. I'm just like, so close. I was that close,
Hey, you're the only one that can screw yourself over.
It was good while it lasted.
You're the only person that can screw yourself over.
I'm the original Brett screwed Brett, so, Brett didn't screw Brett.
I got a joke for you. I got a joke for you.
What?
How many Vince McMahons does it take in to screw in a light bulb?
None. Brett screwed it in.
None. The light bulb screwed the light bulb.
That's good. I'll give you that. That was good. If any of you guys have any questions for Ace Whistler, definitely ask away, whether it be about Call, Backyard Wrestling. Definitely ask. Whistler, I'm going to pretty much ask you, what do you think so far has been the best UWE match you have seen so far?
Oh, me personally? Oh, man. I really liked the, let's see. You versus DeChico at Thunderstruck was good.
Oh, wow. A lot of people haven't been watching that.
Cam versus TJ pretty good. My favorite that I've seen so far, because I've only started once I started making logos for you, has been Cam and TJ versus the Dirty Boys.
Okay.
And you know, I've talked to DeChico, and I've even designed a logo for him. And he's money, is the way to put it. In it, he's money.
Yeah.
He showed that he can go with Cam and TJ. My favorite superstar is, hey, I'm a CJE fan. That's me.
You know.
It's one of the most entertaining gimmicks I've ever seen.
I'm not gonna lie. If you're not a CJE fan, you may as well not watch UWE.
I make the logos, goddammit.
You know, I'm gonna really say that if you're not a Cameron Jackson fan, then UWE is not meant for you because UWE puts entertainment before.
I mean, there's
Actually, no. Yes. I'm gonna say this. UWE did put entertainment as before anything else. Now we're kind of more focused on storylines.
You're more focused on storylines now, and
storylines before anything else. Not wrestling, not entertainment, but put it like this: the most storytelling match will beat any promo, and the most storytelling promo will beat any match. Because if a match or a promo does not tell a story, then you are not going to get the same amount of. You're not going to get as good of a result as you wanted, and that has been the problem with the WWE. That has been a problem with
because there's some you can have wrestling matches with, but you need storylines with as well. So if you have one more outweigh the other, it kind of does not work.
For your information, Maria, I lost my goods and my flour at 15 years of age. I'm okay. I can, I've been screwed before. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. Actually, Lister made a couple jokes about that.
His name is Righty.
Oh, screw you. Up yours, and I'm a lefty, by the way, so that doesn't even count.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know.
No, I really write with my left hand.
I'm right hand dominant. I write with my right.
Yeah, sure you do. So
it's the right way.
So I mean that's actually it's funny that I mentioned that I'm left-handed because people that are left-handed are right side of the brain. My right side, right? Yeah, right side of the brain.
Wait a minute. That's your right side.
This is my
right here. So the way you're facing, that's your right side.
Yep. So a right-sided thinker is more creative, which I am. That's why I'm good at running this way.
I'm more logical in the way I think. I think of.
Yes, you're more logical.
I think of all the consequences before I take the actions.
My professor from college actually is left-handed, and she's very creative. And I'm like, we had a good conversation. I mean, it was pretty funny how those college professors are.
So wait a minute, how did this conversation get brought up? It's like, so I saw you're left-handed too. We should unite.
No, that's not.
We should unite.
No, we actually. I don't even know. With those professors, I flirt with them now. Like, I mean, it's at that point where I can flirt with the professors and get over.
I don't do that because the professors I have are either two old ladies or one dude who works as a car customizer. So I'm like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Just gotta get this text real quick.
How unprofessional are you?
Yeah, right. I'm bad.
I turned my phone off for you.
You turned your phone off for me. Man, I feel like shit.
No, it's actually on silent.
Oh,
I have 2 emails. So, every time somebody hits me up on Twitter, I will know on my phone. So, yeah. So as you can see, the The Everett Creed is unprofessional as hell right
This is the
now.
Whistler cast, But no, I mean, what was I going to say? Okay, now that I
Wait a minute.
mentioned
Today is Wednesday, correct?
Yes.
Welcome to Wednesdays with Whistler.
Oh, there you go. Wednesdays with Whistler. What a stupid show. So anyway, I mean, WCW. Oh, God. I think it's Paige like every other week. So.
That is a good segue, because I recently bought the network. And I watched an episode of WCW Nitro today.
The Women Crush Wednesday. Oh, man. I think I'm going to... You know what? I'm going to say Trish Stratus this week. I feel like even though she could wrestle, she could also expose, and that's also...
Women Crush Wednesday for me? Well, I don't participate in trends, but, I love all women the same. Except the ones that,
Yeah, okay.
No, honestly, if you want my woman crush Wednesday,
right next to the Everett Creed memes are nude pictures of Luna Vachon,
No. Oh man, I had one in mind.
Isn't she married to Gangrel?
She's dead.
What?
She died in 2000.
Oh, she didn't.
Yeah, dude, but she was one of my favorite women wrestlers.
Luna Vachon died? No, she did not.
Yes, look. Oh my God, you're
Gangrel. Hold on, Gangrel. I'm googling Gangrel right now because I know he's okay. Spouse. Luna Vachon. Yeah, Luna Vachon.
Luna Vachon, not Vachon.
Oh my God, she did die. She died in 2010. What the hell?
Wow, Whistler, you're so smart. Well, thank you. You're welcome.
She died? Oh my God, rest in peace. Oh wait, no, Gangrel already divorced them by then, but still.
Hang on. Woman Crush Wednesday. Emma, 'cause she stole my heart. But
So.
But seriously, Lana.
Oh yeah, she's smoking.
That's just me.
She's a
But I'm 5'7", 180 pounds. I don't think she wants to be with me.
You don't know. You got a shot. I mean, she is dating Rusev after all. So.
Hey, I'm legal.
I mean, she's Rusev after all.
I'm legal.
And by the way, as I say, my woman crush Wednesday is Paige. Every time I mention Paige, Baron Bishop always sends me like a photo of Paige all the time, and I'm just like, dude, I already have these saved. No, I'm kidding. I've seen them, but I haven't saved them.
Yeah, because you sounded more like a creep than you usually are when you just said, I have every single one of those.
I'm not that bad. I know I play lips, but I'm not that bad. So,
yeah.
But. Hey,
got any questions?
Creed's WCW is lips. That's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Creed got laid. This is more surprising than if Justin Gabriel got a push. I'm laughing. I mean, I don't know if that's
Justin
an insult
Gabriel,
or if that's an insult to Justin Gabriel.
He got the shit end of the Nexus stick.
He did. He really did get the shit end.
Hey, at least he has a job, unlike Michael Tarver.
Yeah, Michael Tarver didn't get crap. Actually, if anybody got the shit end, it was probably Darren Young.
No. At least he actually had a contract. Like Michael Tarver was dropped.
Well, yeah, he was dropped like a bad habit. And you know what's funny? Guess who actually, out of all the people in the Nexus, the entire Nexus roster, who got the best push of all?
The guy who choked Justin Roberts with his tie.
Who was?
Daniel Bryan.
Oh, okay, Daniel Bryan. Okay, because there's somebody else that I had in mind.
Well, there's the repackaged Ryback.
Husky Harris.
Bray Wyatt, yeah.
Bray Wyatt.
No, but he wasn't in the original Nexus. That's the new Nexus. New Nexus don't count.
I don't give a shit.
New Nexus don't count.
Look at all these repackaged superstars.
Hang on. You want to talk about new Nexus? Fine.
Oh, here we go. He's gonna get his new Nexus shirt. Yeah, I'm guessing he's gonna. You know what he's gonna get? He's gonna get that fucking CM Punk shirt with the yellow fist on it. I bet.
You're goddamn right.
You know. Whistler, your screen is dark as pitch. You know, like I mean.
Because I'm Batman.
Yeah, you're Batman, and now your yellow CM Punk shirt is gonna glow in the dark. Like.
Hang on. I'm gonna walk out of the podcast now, so I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. Did he really? Wow! Way to take your ball and go home, Whistler. Really showing the, really showing the truth.
No, but honestly, he's writing for Marvel now. He's living out my dreams.
What a fag! I'm sorry, but he should be writing for DC. You know, like, you know, if anything, at least write for the better comic. Like,
he's writing for Thor.
I'm his dealer. Why got it in the Darren Young got it in the shit end. I get it because that's anal sex.
That was horrible. That was horrible. I shouldn't have laughed. I apologize.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Darren Young got it in the shit end because he, you know.
You know that joke was gonna get it.
Oh, that's bad. Bad news. So let's see. The leader became Bad News Barrett. Skip Sheffield became Ryback. The man that executed the final blow of every Nexus attack is now jobbing to Fandango.
Hang on, really quick. Speaking of Fandango, doesn't his new theme song sound like it'd be in a Dos Equis commercial?
Oh my god, right? You know, that's...
I don't always get repackaged, but when I do, Rosa Mendez is dancing.
Yes! Oh my god! Oh, that's right on. That is exactly...
I am a proud owner of a Fandango t-shirt as well.
Oh, god. Just when I thought we can get along again, you know, so...
Hey, you want to see it?
You know, Fandango. What do you mean? I already know what it is. He's only had one shirt.
Yeah,
he's only had one shirt. You're making it look like he's got a whole wardrobe of shop.
Well, Hot Topic likes to release ones that aren't
official, right? That's why Sheamus is
they're like non-official, even though they have the WWE brand on them.
Sheamus has only got like maybe 6 shirts ever in his career, but thanks to Hot Topic, he's got like 13. You know.
You want to talk
Who
about
actually
that?
Has had the most T-shirts made?
Who's had the most T-shirts made? Cena.
Oh yeah, Cena. Yeah, you're right.
Cena,
and believe it or not, CM Punk.
Cena, Punk, and Triple H.
Yeah, Triple H has had quite a bit, and he never wears them.
Man, what was the worst shirt? The one in 2007, which was the one that was his DVD cover, but it was just stretched all across his T-shirt.
Oh, that one.
It was like red. I'm like, ugh.
That one sucked. Donkey balls. Yeah, that was.
It's just like, hey, you're having a new DVD come out. He's like, yeah, I like that cover art. Let's put it on my T-shirt.
Yeah, like really. Triple H's best shirt, in my opinion, was probably. I don't know. That's tough. I liked his one in 2007. The one he had right before that, the gray one with the 2 skulls.
I liked the shirts that he had in Evolution. Those were my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Those ones were my favorite ones of Triple H.
Yeah, well, Evolution.
That was kind of like one of my favorite eras of Triple H.
My favorite Orton shirt was definitely the one where either the one he has now, which is the blue one, or let me think, the one I actually got for Angie on our the not the RKO with the snake, the tan one,
yeah.
You know,
what is it? Strike first?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also, what was another one? There was another one that I liked. Oh, the one with the skull with the 2 hands.
The Legend Killer T-shirt. I love that one. That was one of my favorites.
And the gas mask that you can never.
Yeah, the gas mask too.
Legacy.
Coincidentally, that's how I met one of my best friends that I went to high school with. His freshman orientation, he was wearing a Randy Orton T-shirt.
There you go.
He was wearing that exact same T-shirt. I'm like,
My least favorite
sweet.
John Cena shirt was the one with the bulldog on it.
Um,
I'm sorry, but that one was really
yeah.
funny. My least favorite shirt overall was the Daniel Bryan
No,
Respect the Beard
my
shirt. I hated that shirt.
my least favorite T-shirt.
Definitely Daniel Bryan's Respect the Beard. It's not even that
No,
I'm not. It's
that
not even
one's
that I'm.
okay. The Jericho one where he came back, which had a giant B at the back of it that said "wannabe." I'm a fan of puns. That shirt was shit.
I own that shirt.
It's like
I own that shirt, you dick.
Of course, you wreck me for my CM Punk T-shirts. At least I got these on sale on the WWEshop.com. Cheap plug number one.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I wanted to get that Wyatt work shirt when I was on sale for $25. I was like, I want it, and then I'm like, but I just got my credit card. I don't my debit card. I don't want to buy shit yet, and I'm like, yeah. So I didn't buy it, and now it's $35. I'm like, wish I bought it.
Wade is BNB, Gabriel is Jobber, Heath is Jobber, Otunga, no effing idea, Skip is Ryback, DY is no comment, and Tarver's dead. Like,
David Otunga is still Jennifer Hudson's husband at the end of the day.
Yeah, him and Tyson Kidd have quite a bit to talk about, So, least favorite shirt, definitely Daniel Bryan's Respect the Beard. I think that thing looks like a piece of shit, I'm not going to lie. Or his goat face shirt. I don't like a lot of Daniel Bryan.
I didn't like that goat shirt. Yeah, I was just like, okay, now you're capitalizing it on too much.
I'm sorry, but Daniel Bryan doesn't have any good T-shirts besides the Yes Movement one. I mean, that's the only one where I think that one's okay, but...
I have the No T-shirt.
I have that one too.
Yeah, I have that one.
That's like the only one.
It has holes at the bottom of it because when my grandparents came into town, when I just bought the shirt, my grandpa left his pocket knife in there, and it got unhooked, and it punctured holes in all my favorite shirts. So, like, my Megadeth T-shirt, my Batman Arkham Asylum T-shirt, my Daniel Bryan shirt. I was like, all of these are, like, have holes in them at the bottom because my grandfather decided, hey, I'm going to wash my pocket knife with it.
Yeah, right. I think a lot of the CM Punk shirts were actually pretty good. Punk actually probably had some of the best shirts. He had the Best in the World one and Money in the Bank, which I own. And
I own the WrestleMania 29 one.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I own that one.
My least favorite shirt was probably the last one that he had, which was the
arrows.
Yeah, not the arrows, the one that just said Best in the World, and then it's like the one that looked like it was weird. It was like a weird looking logo. I just did not like it. Like my favorite.
Oh, was it the blue one with the 430?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was the red and blue one. It looked like if it was a black T-shirt. If they put it in a circle, it could be a Pepsi logo.
Yeah. Oh man, the dog's going crazy. I mean, obviously the CM Punk hoodie with the yellow Best in the World, that was a good one. With the lightning bolt, whatever that one was.
I didn't like how bright yellow the shirt is because I'm like,
no, not the T-shirt. I meant the hoodie. I just meant the hoodie.
Oh, of course you meant the hoodie.
Yeah, the hoodie was good. The yellow shirt was... The yellow shirt's good as long as you wear the hoodie with it. Without the hoodie, it kind of looks kind of corny.
Yeah, it looks like, hey, look, I stand out. Woo!
Yeah, right. But the best CM Punk shirt, either the straight edge one he wore in WrestleMania 26 with the barbed wire with the figurehead, or obviously the one he wore at Money in the Bank. Those are my two favorites.
Mm. Yeah, it's just, like those shirts, like Punk shirts, he had a lot of good designs.
One of my 16, simple but awesome.
One of the worst designs of his, though, was like the limited edition T-shirt that he had, which is like, it was yellow, and he wore it on a promo against Jeff Hardy back in 2009. That shirt was awful.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that one was bad.
That one was pretty bad. Yeah, that was a sucky one, but still,
Yeah.
We're talking about T-shirts. How lame are we? You know, I'm not gonna lie. You know who always like? I'm just like never
You want to
understood
talk
why your
about
t-shirt.
shoes?
Yeah, right. Oh my God, look at this shit. You know, like, we sound like a bunch of chicks right now. Best shirt is "It's Too Bad I'm Too Good" for Dolph Ziggler. Oh God.
I agree. Ziggler has good T-shirt designs. I'm not necessarily a fan of the current one, but I do like his T-shirt designs a lot. They're some of the best ones compared to what they're releasing now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. Don't care for Brian. Just wanted to call Creed a mother effer. But no, honestly, this latest episode of Raw was shit. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty bad.
Let's see.
I didn't care for it. I did not care for it. Besides Rowan interrupting the big show, I didn't care for it. Oh, and Wyatt and attacking Ambrose, of course, but
I missed that part. I went to go with my family to get frozen yogurt, and I was having a bad day that day, and I got like 30 ounces of frozen yogurt.
oh,
And it
I'm
was like in a thing that was like this big, and it was like chocolate, pistachio, cake batter, frozen yogurt, and I just had like a shitload of stuff in it. I'm like, let me wallow. Let me, dude. Good shit. Leave it alone. Like when you go to frozen yogurt, you mix your shit. You want to get your money's worth.
Oh man. If I had to think now, oh man, that's tough. Favorite, now, oh man, I'm trying to think now. Favorite superstar in WWE in the gold, because I know we always watch the In Your House videos, so I'm trying to think.
Yeah, that's how we even did that last night, and
last night
we witnessed my favorite promo of all time from Brian Pillman. I will quote him on the last two sentences from him. As you tonight crown a king of the ring, the leader of the new revolution ascends to his throne. And then it's like, okay. Then he goes flat out saying, I'm going to rape, pillage, and plunder the World Wrestling Federation. And he laughs and he leaves. And I'm like, what a badass.
My God, and then Undertaker fought Mankind, and then Goldust fought Ahmed Johnson.
Okay.
And you thought Goldust was gay? Ahmed Johnson's trunks?
If your go-to move is an Irish whip, there's something wrong.
Hey, my go-to move's the Irish whip.
Look, no joke. Ahmed's hitting his comeback, and it's like, okay, so now he's beating the crap out of Goldust. And I remember, I was like, I swear, if he does a goddamn Irish whip, I'm going to walk out. And he punches Goldust. I'm like, okay, I'm glad he didn't go to the Irish whip. And he throws an Irish whip. I'm like, Jesus, what are you doing?
Yeah, freaking, oh my God, Ahmed Johnson. And not to mention his trunks. He had the same problem as
Kofi Kingston.
I'm sorry, but he had that Chris Masters problem.
You saw too much of his butt cheeks.
Yeah, I'm sure Goldust liked it, but Goldust probably had no problem with that. But
I mean, now with the network, I've been watching 2002 pay-per-views.
Everybody wants to see an old Goldust versus Litz match. No, I don't want to see that because they're not going to wrestle. They're going to be on the same page. That's not going to work at all.
Yeah. Man.
That's
Jerry Lawler cutting his promo, and he goes to a chick in the crowd, and it's like, "Do you see your face?" It turns Goldust to the way he is, and it's like, I just laughed.
Freaking the Dolph Ziggler shirts. I mean, the Dolph Ziggler. I don't know. I'm just kind of I'm so about Ziggler.
Wait a minute. Are you you're so done with Ziggler, but yet he's getting the push that
it's kind of I'm glad he's getting a push, but I'm also kind of been there, done that with Shawn Michaels. So it's kind of I don't know. I mean,
well,
He's not my favorite character on the roster, but he's also not my least favorite. He's someone
I'm an optimist, so
I'm kind of like,
okay. I hope for the best, but if it doesn't turn out the way intended, oh well.
If there's anybody on the current roster right now that I'm really not liking too much, it's hands down. If there's anybody right now on the WWE roster that I'm just like, okay, I've seen enough of him, hands down, you would think, I know who you're all thinking, because I say it every week on Creed Knows Wrestling, but believe it or not, the one person that I really am getting so sick and tired of seeing right now is Cesaro. I really am not.
That is an extreme shocker.
I am not bought into Cesaro because this guy is just. You want to talk about someone that is not about storylines? Cesaro does not tell a story. The only story he could tell is with his wrestling abilities, and you know what? That's not going to get you very far. No wonder why Vince McMahon doesn't like you, because you're not going to go far with just a bunch of Swiss uppercuts. You're going to have to tell a story some way or another, and that's why he lost to Jack Swagger. So
I can tell you're not an NXT fan.
I, believe it or not, I actually am. I mean, whenever I get the time, I will watch NXT.
Who's your favorite on the roster of NXT?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, if I had to pick, probably Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Because those guys are just pure entertainment.
They are.
Yeah. I love Big Cass.
Here's the funny thing about Enzo Amore. I don't know. I've never seen him hit his finisher. I've seen the promos. I've seen him wrestle. I've never seen him hit his goddamn finisher.
Big Cass has a big boot that is, right now, I could say the best in the company.
That's hard. It's amazing.
Because when I think big boot, and I think of the one person that has a better big boot than anybody else, I think of Test. Test
exactly.
The best big boot. I'm sorry, I do, and I have been starting to really get back into Sheamus. And Sheamus has a nasty bro kick, but the best big boot, hands down, goes to Test. Until I saw Enzo Amore. Not Enzo Amore, Big Cass.
Big Cass. I can see Enzo Amore throwing a big boot. That'd be hilarious.
Oh my god. You know, and I would put him in the WWE, the main roster as a tag team. They have it. They really do.
They have entertainment, which was originally what like Stardust and Goldust it was, and then now it's just like.
But that's not really Gold and Stardust's fault. That's really kind of the booking. That's just the booking.
Dude, like, here's the. Yeah, it's like you don't. I'm sorry, you book your tag team champions who were the tag team champions to lose to not one but 3 different tag teams. You're making those titles look like pure shit.
Yeah. And not to mention...
And that's the same thing... That was the same thing that they did with the U.S. title. That was the same thing they did with the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
Especially the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, they really buried that title. But I do. That's actually a discussion that that is actually going to be mentioned, in good time. And I'm not going to really give away when exactly that's going to be discussed, but that's a really big, that's going to be a big thing to talk about. Before we wrap this up, I want to see if there's any more questions, because I know I got to do some things. Rest in peace, Test. The Ascension, yes. The Ascension.
The Ascension? Yeah. What needs to happen is shortly before they get back on the roster, I feel like they need to at least get a couple more wins, because the way that they have it with Hideo Itami and Finn Balor, yes. I'm first of all, I'm a huge Kenta, huge Prince Devitt fan. It's like, okay, you just made your most ruthless tag team on your roster kind of look.
The Ascension needs to step up. They're definitely up there with my favorites. Maria's got a lot of my favorites.
Who's holding the NXT tag titles right now?
I'm
Lucha Dragons.
I'm really liking
Sakara. That's who. But they beat the Ascension. I mean, like, once the Ascension lost the tag titles, I felt like they should have got up.
Yeah. And there was another, like I said, who would I just say? Tyler Breeze. Definitely.
Oh, dude. Okay.
Yes.
You could put if you can put one word in a move, and it makes the move unique to you, it's awesome. The supermodel kick. Not the super kick, the supermodel kick.
Is that what he calls it?
Yeah, the supermodel kick.
That's actually pretty cool, I'm not going to lie.
And then he has the beauty shot, which is the spinning heel kick, which is one of the most underrated moves.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I like that move.
I love that
He's
move.
the person that can pull off Shawn Michaels differently from Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, exactly.
I really think he's got something special. I saw the same thing in John Morrison, but WWE didn't see it the same way.
And now he's on the El Rey Network.
John Hennigan.
I have not watched Lucha Underground yet, but I plan to. I just don't know when yet.
WWE dropped the ball with a lot of superstars. Actually, you know what? Before I wrap this up, there's one more topic I want to discuss because it really is special, and it's funny that I mentioned underused WWE talent. But
it's Sting.
Tyler Breeze is a big. I really think he's huge. Kevin Steen is going to be a big asset to NXT.
He's going to be a huge asset. But I feel like
and I was
NXT.
Oh, yeah, continue.
Okay. Well, I feel like NXT goes in generations. So the first generation is what you see on the main roster now. You see Rollins, Reigns, Ambrose. You could have seen Cassius Ohno. You see Paige, Emma. Second generation, Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, Tyler Breeze. I think Tyler Breeze would be second and third generation. Oh no, Bray Wyatt for the Wyatt family would be also in that first generation of NXT. Second generation would be Zayn, Neville, Breeze, the Ascension, Charlotte. Third generation is going to be Owens, Kevin Steen, Balor, Prince Devitt, Hideo Itami. Your tag team will be, I'm calling it Enzo and Big Cass.
Yep.
And your diva, Bayley. Bayley and Sasha Banks.
I think...
And I'm glad they dropped the stereotypical Irish gimmick for Becky Lynch. Really happy about that.
Now... let's see. I mean, like I said, Kevin Steen. I was talking to Cam about this earlier today, and we were talking about Kevin Steen, and we came to the agreement that, with the exception of CM Punk, Kevin Steen is the only indie wrestler that could have fit in the Attitude Era and in ECW.
Agreed, because he doesn't necessarily have the look of what a typical professional wrestler looks like. But he's athletic. He's agile. He's a great promo. He's what, as a wrestler, he's kind of that total package in a sense. And it's like he surprises you. And think about it now. We're gonna have Steen and we're gonna have Generico on the same roster.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why I'm not really following too much up, and I'm not really a big fan of Sami Zayn as much. I don't know why.
I feel the reason why is like we know he's got to get called up, but it's a matter of time. And it's like we're waiting for him to win the NXT championship.
Yeah.
But it's just like he's been stuck in that position of I'm chasing this title for so long that it's like, it needs to get off, and hopefully with this NXT special, which you can get on the WWE Network for $9.99 after the end of this month, we can. I was planning on watching Evolution with the R at it because I guess it's Revolution. So, and that's going to be Zayn, Neville in the main event. If Neville loses, he loses the title.
Yes.
Play that game thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching Star Wars. Yeah.
And the game,
Yeah. All right.
Hi, Mrs. Patterson.
Yeah, Mother stopped by, and it's actually, yeah, it's funny. They're making Star Wars Episode 7 soon. I'm used to 6, you know.
Yeah. I I grew up at a time where the prequel comes out, and we're like, okay, and now we're so used to the prequels. We're so used to the prequels, and now we're getting a seventh one. It's like, what the hell are they doing?
The fuck is this? And, you know, the best, like I said, yeah, like about Steen, about that. But now, when it comes to me and you, the one thing, in my opinion, that really, you mentioned the logos that got us back on track with a very strong friendship. But I feel there was something else. And unfortunately, that something else is no longer with us. But I feel that this something has to be brought up, and because they deserve it. There are WWE talent that, not only the talent, it's just the storylines that don't really get the recognition and the outside of the box thinking process as this, I don't know what I want to call it, conglomerate did.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those people that I feel that didn't get the credit that they deserved was, well, you want to mention a couple of people. Okay, there's The Undertaker, Dolph Ziggler, you know, all that. But this one person created an entertainment conglomerate that really kind of put everything on the map. Mom, I'm kind of doing a podcast. I can't really have the dog humping the blankets.
But we get more views.
Have the dog humping the blanket. Come on. And this one person is Over the Edge SVR, and
Oh my God, yes.
and this guy, this was just a story design, and it's a shame you can't do it anymore in 2K15.
No.
They took out the story designer and that.
Oh my God.
But his latest show, which was SummerSlam, was by far one of the best things I've seen in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to talk about a superstar that didn't get the credit that they deserved and didn't get the opportunity that they deserved. Drew McIntyre.
Yep, McIntyre. He did McIntyre so great justice. He, the Chosen One gimmick was something that, you know, should have been capitalized long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And with the way that OTE had the storyline out with him versus Triple H, at one point Drew McIntyre gets hold of the WWE. He controls the WWE. And then he loses the match at OTE's Hell in a Cell 2011, I believe. And he loses the power, he loses the WWE title. Then Drew McIntyre liquidates all the assets and turns the company bankrupt. And so then it has to build back up.
Yeah.
And then McIntyre returns as soon as it's back in stable position. And then he feuds with Triple H, who he was feuding with before. And then at this time around, things are different because he marries Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie McMahon gets a divorce, and he marries Stephanie McMahon, and Stephanie McMahon becomes Stephanie McMahon McIntyre. Yeah. And then so this match, this storyline eventually stands from the company standpoint of business to personal. And that concluded with a Hell in a Cell with special guest referee Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam.
He loves putting himself in those Hell in even when he's not running the storyline. Yeah. Somehow, in some way, Shawn Michaels has to somehow steal the spotlight from Triple H. Every time, Triple H is like, finally, I got my main event. In WWE, OTE, SVR, it could be a fucking video game. And Triple H finally got the main event spot, but here comes Shawn Michaels to take the spot away right from him.
Well, coincidentally enough, one of my favorite feuds of WWE is Michaels and Triple H.
Oh, yeah, the best, in my opinion.
That's why, 2K15, shameless plug number 3 for WWE. I should probably work there the way I'm plugging their shit. The stories with Michaels and, Triple H is one of the showcases. That's the only showcase I really plan on playing. Because, I loved those matches.
Yeah, they were, Triple H and Shawn Michaels was incredible, and then Shawn Michaels as the guest referee for Triple H's match against The Undertaker played a big part in WrestleMania 28, and in OTE's version, Shawn Michaels is the ref against, with Triple H and McIntyre, and that was an amazing match. And the Drew McIntyre Triple H saga was something I wish I could have seen really on WWE television.
Exactly. I wish, to be honest, because Over the Edge SVR capitalized on the Chosen One gimmick, which is something WWE did not do. And, OTE stopped making the Octane series, as it's called, as he dubbed it. But he will be back with a new project next year.
And what a way to go out.
There's more backstory to that. He uses a song for a stable that he had with McIntyre, Sheamus, and Barrett called the Holy Modern Trinity. And the song was called Lucretia, My Reflection. And the story of Lucretia is she was a woman in Rome, and she's married to a ruler. And however, this ruler is in the middle of war between another ruler, and this other ruler seduces Lucretia and takes her for his wife, and he kills the ruler.
Huh.
And then
talk about a precursor.
The song that OTE uses for McIntyre, which is Bartholomew by the Silent Comedy, one of the most underrated bands I've ever heard. Their music, at least one song could play in every different era. A song called 49, Gold Rush. I suggest, if you take the time to listen to Silent Comedy. Great band, especially live. Especially Bartholomew live. It's amazing. But, hang on, let me take a drink of water real quick.
No problem. I mean, and then there was other storylines that they did too. Like they had CM Punk do a lot of good storylines against Stone Cold.
Yeah, they had Punk versus McMahon, which is a storyline, which intertwined with him versus Austin.
Punk and Austin they did at WrestleMania. That was, that was a great, that was really like a really good storyline. And I definitely, was getting into that feud. And then he did a lot of other feuds as well. The Undertaker. Now he did the Undertaker and Kane different because Undertaker he had doing running the Ministry of Darkness again with he did the thing where he
Christian Edge, the Acolytes.
Yes, and he slit Shane McMahon's throat, and that was a big thing.
We're not making this up, by the way.
What?
We're not making this up.
No, we're not making it up. Check OTE SVR. Check it out. And Undertaker lost the Ministry in a match.
And a pay-per-view that was a pay-per-view I've always wanted to do for a CAW League, which was Everything's at Risk in a title match. Something has to be put up for you if you face in a title match. For example, he did Daniel Bryan versus Alberto Del Rio. And Del Rio put up one of his cars against Daniel Bryan's Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
The first ever intergender TLC match with
AJ Lee and The Miz.
With
Edge
AJ Lee, The Miz, Edge, and Trish, which was if they lost, Miz would never get a title match against Edge. And then with the main event, which was the Fatal 4-Way between Austin, Punk, McIntyre, and Undertaker, the three participants had something to give. If Drew McIntyre lost, Triple H would return to the active roster. If Austin lost, the Night of Power would go to whoever was the winner. And Taker
lost the title, and then
Taker had to give up the ministry and had to essentially be contracted to fulfill all obligations in his contract, and he must abandon his course of action of taking over the WWE for good, or else the WrestleMania streak would be stricken from the book.
Yep.
And so Taker lost the match, and he was, essentially, he would come out on an episode of Octane, I think the following one, and he goes, "I'm sorry," and he just leaves the ring. And then you don't see him till Power Trip, where he tries to convince Kane to, help him. But Kane doesn't, and by the time Kane is convinced, the debut of Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt taking an Undertaker. And it's one of my favorite moments, and I wish it was a wrestling moment.
Oh, I know.
Imagine Bray Wyatt, rather with Harper and Rowan, leading the Undertaker down the ring, and Undertaker wearing the sheet mask and the jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Coming out to a custom version of Mother by Danzig.
And
God
I remember
damn.
SummerSlam, and I remember seeing them, first they did the thing with Bray, and Bray told Taker, Undertaker joined me and all that, and Undertaker tombstones Kane. And then at SummerSlam, Kane came out, and then Bray came out. And when Bray came out, Undertaker was walking behind him with the jumpsuit and the sheet mask. And I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy.
And with the Taker and Kane feud, Kane's usually the one who's getting led.
Yes. Kane's always the X factor in the feud. No matter how many times WWE does it, Kane is the X factor.
Always the X factor. Yep, exactly. And with this feud,
he's always the
Taker
one that has the most going on in the storyline. Where in this case, it was the Undertaker that had the most going on in the storyline, which was really interesting. But if there was any, here we go. If there was any feud, if there was any match that stole the show,
Ambrose and Rhodes.
It was a rivalry that took place between Cody Rhodes and Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose.
It wasn't the match itself, it was the ending.
Because Cody Rhodes had stole the show at WrestleMania in a hardcore match with Mick Foley. And Dean Ambrose comes in at the following pay-per-view and takes out Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes wants to resurrect the hardcore title. And Ambrose has this whole, almost like Cactus Jack in ECW days, he anti-hardcore. And you don't even want to see me be hardcore because I'll kill you. And Cody just has this inspiration to be more hardcore, almost in a way more like Mick Foley, which became his undoing. Because
he wanted to be more like Mick Foley, which was quite ironic.
His undoing, because Dean Ambrose at SummerSlam would hit Dirty Deeds on the pile of chairs and win the match. However, after the match, Dean Ambrose starts revving up a chainsaw.
Fucking chainsaw.
And Dean Ambrose takes a chainsaw and, while the thing is running, hits Cody Rhodes right off the top of the head with the chainsaw and knocks him to the outside. And the next thing you notice is that the chainsaw works because Cody Rhodes is missing half his ear.
He's missing a part of his right ear, like Mick Foley. And then you see the end of the match, Ambrose on the turnbuckle holding up the chainsaw and the hardcore title belt. And there was a thing that I read through OTE on Ask FM, and he's like, so what were you going to, somebody asked the question, what were you going to plan with Ambrose after SummerSlam? And it was funny you mentioned that, because I had an idea that Ambrose would tape Cody Rhodes' ear to the hardcore title belt and come out with the hardcore title, with Cody Rhodes' ear taped to the title. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's unbelievable how they turn those storylines like that.
You want to be
comments? Got some people interested. Hear this out. Anonymous actually put out a little comment saying, expect.
Wow, he's resurrected.
Yeah, Anonymous. He's in APW now, so
Oh, yes, congratulations to him.
Yeah, right. See what happens with that. But
Don't fall off the face of the planet.
that's pretty much. If anybody has any final questions, definitely ask away. I'm probably gonna wrap this up around 10 o'clock, and then that's going to be that. So we got a good 2 hours in, probably one of the longest CredeCasts, and it was definitely an honor to have you on the show.
Well, thank you. It was, I wanted to be on here. We planned on it since I started talking and making logos for you again, and I'm glad I was on here.
Yeah, definitely. You're definitely more than welcome to come as a guest anytime. I don't know what I'm going to have next time on the show. I got to figure out all that, and then I got to figure out some other things like obviously recording and all that stuff with.
Yeah, but you find a way anyway.
I got to figure out with Hell's Vacancy because what do you guys know so far? You guys know, I think you only know one match so far, right? As far as what the fans know, I think the only thing people are aware of right now is the only official match on the match card for Hell's Vacancy is TJ Sakara versus Nick Somas for the UWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna obviously, that's gonna, go.
That'll be a good match. I'll be looking forward to that.
As you can see, there's a little spark of interest going on between Dirty the Chico and Rick Rios, which, Rick seems to be more focused on the title, and it's something you don't want to do is forget about Dirty the Chico, because you put him to the back burner, and he's going to make you remember that.
Yeah, you put him to the back burner, it's going to cost you.
You're going to remember the name Dirty the Chico. Believe me, I fought him at Thunderstruck.
Yeah, mysterious keyboard comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, right. I just saw it lying there. I'm just like,
Hey, take this. Okay.
Freaking, there you go. So, but it was good, and I remember doing the freaking arm drag, and then I pulled him, and then he freaking fell. I'm like, oh shit, we gotta, But it was good. So, anybody got any last questions? Let's see. Nothing really right now. So. Let them go for about another minute or so, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. But, I know Cameron Jackson's bringing back Backyard Politics.
Okay, so, yeah. I made the logos for, BYW Fix and Backyard Politics.
CredeCast, all the logos.
Yeah, I mean, I really have fun making these logos. I made, some for...
Which reminds me, I got to get you to make the next one.
I was going to ask you that today.
Yeah, I got to get
I made logos for a new league coming up called TIW from the ashes of LTW. I made them their brand logo themselves, and I made a couple of their pay-per-view logos.
You know what's funny is that it's funny because one of the big... Now, the pay-per-view after Hell's Vacancy is supposed to be built as one of the big four. Now, Broken Glory. But the problem is that right now, I'm not going to lie, what we have so far built on the card, don't get me wrong, stacked card. But I've noticed that a lot of people have been paying attention to Abomination, and it looks like Abomination might be considered one of the big four soon. And it's interesting how that turns about. But
because
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I watched Abomination, and I can consider big four for you, for me personally on UWE. Of course, Ultimate Redemption. I would say Abomination. What was the? Yeah, All Out Survival.
Definitely.
I would actually say the three pay-per-views before Ultimate Redemption and then Ultimate Redemption.
All right, so Abomination, All Out Survival, yeah. I mean, Road to Destruction, I'm not going to lie, I think that could have gone better. But, there were some good matches in there as well. But, we'll see how it goes. All right, so that's all we've got for this time for the CredeCast. We got to Go F Yourself Creed with a heart. You too, Maria. Mr. Reister,
Hey, Paracolo.
Yeah, Mr. Reister, he just arrived. A little late, but it's all right. definitely tune into the next time we do the CredeCast. Whistler, any last words?
Well, let's see. It's not my funeral, so I can't, say
Well, any
goodbye to
last
everybody.
thoughts, comments?
No, but I do have plans beginning in 2015 to open up a website for all BYW leagues to buy a bundle of logos made by me for their pay-per-views, customized in any way. Any logos, a bundle of 10 for 10.
There you go. That's all that we have. Ever Creed and Ace Whistler, Gen Y. We are alive, but we're also signing out. So see you later.